want to talk about African History Month and how the African culture have affected Tobago. With me is the Deputy Political Leader of the National Joint Action Committee, Mr. Embau Moheni. Good morning, sir, and welcome.
Good morning, thank you.
So, how are you this morning, first of all? I know that you came up here very early this morning.
Quite good, quite good.
Yes, very good, very good. And it's an absolute pleasure to have you. How has African History Month been going for you so far?
Well, yesterday we were up at UE and we linked with one of the black leaders in Brazil by technology, and we had a discussion coming out of it. It shows that based on what she was saying from the Brazilian experience, just as the experience we have here in the Caribbean, it shows that the struggle in order to restore our culture, our perspectives, our worldview, it goes on from generation to generation. And we know that slavery would have ended since in 1834, but the impact of it is still with us even today. Yeah. So when you talk in terms of African History Month, or African history generally, we are talking about this scope of history, the slave experience, the colonial experience, but we also like to go pre-slavery, when Africa created civilizations in different parts of the continent, north, central, south. They had a governmental structures. As a matter of fact, the first Bill of Rights in the world came out of the African Constitution, which was one constitution across the country.
But I want to talk specifically to Tobago now, and how has the African culture impacted Tobago?
Right. What you would have in Tobago would be that African culture as a subculture and a mixture of the influences that would have come out of the same slave and colonial experiences, so that the African culture could still be expressed through the sense of community, which even now we seem to be losing a bit.
You think so? Why do you think so?
For one, you have the so-called development with people, the movement of people, into institutions of learning. Oftentimes, the philosophy, the ideas have not been generated out of the continent, but would have come from Europe, because a lot of the institutions that we attend where learning is concerned would have been. In addition to which, in order to survive in a capitalistic environment, you have that the value system that is brought with it is one that has contradicted the communal life.
So what do you want to see then?
That would have existed.
What do you think people in Tobago can do to ensure that they end up in a place where we continue to work together?
Well, I think that question of working together is critical, because unity is important. But what needs to be done, there needs to be a greater sense of diligence. More people need to come forward, research our history, research the values.
Proper research, because anybody can go on Google and...
Yeah, proper research. Yeah. Because in addition to that is the fact that our very humanity is what has been challenged. The slave experience taught our people that we are less than human beings. And it starts there.
Do you think people still have that mentality that because of slavery they are less than human beings?
It is quite simple. The system that was set in place was one that re-perpetuates itself from generation to generation.
But it has been so long since slavery has ended.
Because the parents had it down from parent to child. All a child has to do is look how the parents respond in situations, and that engenders that sense of inferiority, which is still with us today. And this is why they say physical slavery is gone, mental slavery still exists. And beyond that is the psychological impact of slavery.
So then how do we get people to move away from that way of thinking?
As I said, people like myself and others, we need to be more diligent. And this is the message that we are bringing out. We need to be more diligent. We need to dig deeper. We need to look at the impact it has had then and now. It comes as if you throw some water down a slope. The first effort you have to to throw it, but after that it goes on its own inertia, and it's the same situation that we have encountered as a people.
There have been calls for the Christopher Columbus statue to be removed. Do you think by doing that it would make a difference in any way?
It will.
Why?
In the sense that here you are seeing images. Sometimes you don't really even understand who that person was, how they contributed. But the fact about it is that Columbus came here. They slaughtered a lot of persons. They helped to decimate the local, the persons who were here first, right? And created a system of inequality, a system of racism, a system where humanity was denied to a large section of the persons who either came here or who were brought here.
So education, you think, is key to getting out of this current situation?
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Embau Moheni, for coming in and talking to us a little bit about African History Month. And yes, I agree with you as well. Education is very important to help Trinidad and Tobago and people get out of this mentality that we are less than human beings.